How's it going? Welcome back to another great video with the majestic host, the Savior. Today I'm so excited to be talking about Frostpunk 2. Now this game is dark, okay? This game makes Fallout New Vegas look like a happy little picnic to some degree. So this game, it's fun, but it won't be for the faint-hearted. And this game is unlike any other city builder that I've played, okay? Now, I didn't play the first one, but this is, all based on the early impressions of Frostpunk 2. But I just wanted to give you a Frostpunk 2 early review because I think this game is truly unique. And I want to praise games that do something different. That's what I like to do with my early reviews because it's important to highlight games that truly are doing something different or call attention to them if they are doing something that is destroying the industry.
Concord, where are you? Where did you go?
It's at least good enough for me to recommend trying out.
You serious?
But in this Frostpunk 2 review, I'm going to analyze it more like I would do with my yearly reviews, give it a more philosophical take, because I was truly blown away by the amount of moral decisions and dark dilemmas in Frostpunk 2. So I do hope you enjoy this Frostpunk 2 if you are new, but I understand that this game isn't for everyone. And yeah, that's something that I do want to highlight. This game is not like other city builders. This game will not be for everyone. If you like deep morality games with morality systems, I did make a video on morality in video games, looking at some of the philosophy and stuff like that. That's only for members only at this point, so please do go check out my members only playlist if you like that type of thing. But this game, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not going to be for everyone. This takes a lot of micromanagement systems from city builders, but then adds layers of psychology, morality, and geopolitical systems, and that's something that we just don't get to see in gaming. And to be honest, it's quite refreshing and exciting because, like with other media like movies or storytelling from books, we've got some great dystopian media out there like Blade Runner or George Orwell, Clockwork Orange, all this kind of stuff, but we don't usually get to see that portrayed in games, and that's why so many people love deep RPGs like Fallout, because you do get a taste of that. Now, this is a much more in-depth version of that. It takes morality and it puts it on a pedestal, which I really like. So I'm going to do some philosophical comparisons to Plato's The Republic, just because I think that would be quite interesting. So I do hope you enjoy this Frostpunk 2 review, based on everything that I've seen so far, and the gameplay systems, and I'm going to break it down. So I do hope you enjoy this one, and if you are new to the channel, which is highly likely, consider subscribing, become a wise one today. If you like early reviews, yearly reviews, looking at games and analyzing them deeply, and all of this great stuff, philosophical content, you're in the right place. Do consider subscribing. It only takes you 2 seconds of your time. I'm just so passionate about what we create here, and it would mean a lot to me if you do join the channel. So here is my Frostpunk 2 review based on the early access stuff, okay? So first of all, I think that for people who aren't fans of city builders, this is going to be kind of too complicated for most of you to engage with. And obviously, this is good for PC players, not so much for console players. But I would say if you aren't, experienced with city builders, you might not like this. But at the same time, for people who want to get into this game, this actually might appeal to you because it has just the human psychology aspect on top of it. So actually, even if you aren't a fan of city builders, this might get you into it, but it isn't a smooth experience. A lot of people have said that this is more smooth compared to the original Frostpunk, and yes, the tutorial does help, and it does seem to be a little bit more streamlined to begin with, but once this game truly opens up, it is truly just incredible stuff. So basically, the rough storyline of this is, in the 1800s, a massive climate change, kind of destroyed the world. It turns out that climate change was a real thing, which I'm sure a lot of crazy geopolitical fascists would actually like that to be true.
You serious?
In the Frostpunk universe, it's a serious threat and it's destroying humanity, and most likely that will happen to us one day as well. Because, yeah, it cannot be ignored, but it is obviously a hot topic at the moment. Some people overstating the importance of it and others understating it. So, Frostpunk 2 The whole point of this game is you need to keep your city alive. It's a post-apocalyptic game similar to Fallout, but everything is frozen. Perhaps you've seen films like Snowpiercer or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but it's a similar idea to that. That's, you know, a society on a train traveling through a frozen wasteland, and they've got to keep the kind of train alive and fueled, and it has different social classes. It's kind of similar to that. What's interesting about Frostpunk 2, the first big positive, I'm going to break it down into positives and negatives like I do with all of my early reviews, is they've added a new gameplay system, or quite a few of them actually. So first thing is, they've added the council system. So this is just awesome. As a massive fan of the Roman Empire, and I'm building my own personal philosophy around the Roman Empire, check out my philosophy playlist if you're interested. But having a council system is just something we've never seen in gaming before, and it's so cool. If you're a fan of games like Disco Elysium, you're definitely going to love this. But now you actually have to pass laws, and the way you get these laws passed, you can either lean on these different factions. These different factions represent the council in this, you know, kind of government state that you're running, but you can basically sway the political decisions by, like I said, by brute forcing it, kind of going the Augustus route and kind of sliding your way up into council. But you better be careful that the council doesn't stab you to death like Caesar. And there's other ways just to grease the paws of politics, you know, give money to the right people, or pass a law that benefits one faction so they will, you know, aid you in your decisions. Stuff like that is so interesting. It takes morality choices in video games and takes it to a whole new level. That's why I wanted to cover it, because I find it truly fascinating. Frostpunk 2 is a game all around time, okay? You know, this city isn't going to last forever, and you've always got to be on top of it. It's a management city sim, not so much a city builder, because you've got to manage the population of this game. There's always going to be different dilemmas propping up, you know, disease spreading through the society, and then choices reflect that. So for example, if there is a disease, how do you stop the spread of it? There will be different moral choices to make. You know, perhaps you can stop the spread of the disease by, you know, kind of isolating these people, but then they will all die. Or you can, you know, perhaps research a cure or something like that. The same thing with, you know, resource collection, because you're trying to build this city up, obviously. You can, you know, maybe implement some child labor force, which might not be the most morally ethical decision, but you will get greater resources. Stuff like that makes Frostpunk 2 so interesting and different, and the sequel has just built upon it. And I think many people who give this a chance will say that Frostpunk 2 is truly incredible in that regard. A small negative, I will say, is I would like to see more of a focus, a graphical focus on the individual, like, people, just to make you feel even more morally and ethically responsible for them. If you could zoom in into the actual cities itself, I know that's a lot of graphical detail, but some city builders do allow you to do that, and seeing them go about their jobs and tasks, that would be a lot more interesting to me than just this kind of big overview. Although a big positive here is the artistic decision. It is beautiful to look at, and the atmosphere, the music, the ambience, the dark tone of this game is truly something immersive that I haven't experienced before, and I'm so glad that this game is offering that. So basically you need 3 things in order to succeed in Frostpunk: fuel, food supplies, and building materials to expand the city and to keep the generators and to keep your people warm, healthy, fed, and secure. And like I said, now they've implemented another system in which that you can actually expand the city, not just focus on the city itself. And because it's so much more grand, time is scaled differently to the first one. Now it's, you know, scaled in long periods of time. But now you can expand the city much more with this new Frostbreak system in place, which allows you to basically find, you know, these kind of wasteland areas. They might have food deposits, fuel deposits, building materials. You can expand and create mini towns and, you know, kind of push your labor force out there to kind of explore, and that's a dangerous task, and you might be rewarded for that, or it might go the other way. Also, I just love the gameplay systems that are, you know, building on top of this. You have a hope and despair meter of your people. You know, we sometimes get that in games, but this takes it to a whole new level with the council system. And if you aren't looking after your people, they will protest. New factions can even arise from your own growing, you know, kind of society that are displeased with you. You can be, you know, an evil dictator and rule with an iron fist, or you can try and, you know, help the people, ease their suffering with things like faith and beliefs and all of this kind of stuff. The massive population that you have in Frostpunk 2 will make you reconsider how you can house and home your ever-growing, you know, society. And it's just such a cool game, you know, it's something that we really don't get to see often. It reminds me of, you know, something like Mountain Blade, but instead of, you know, medieval warfare and, you know, kind of gathering your army and, you know, kind of managing your army and all that kind of stuff, it's much more about a society, which is pretty grand. And the gameplay systems, you know, they sound very complicated and they are a little bit difficult to get your head around, but once you've got all of these systems working, it's just such a cool game. And then you can actually get new ideas from your council and from the people in your society. In Plato's Republic, he kind of splits down the soul into 3 parts: reason, spirit, and appetite. And as a leader, you have to think about all of these things, and it kind of reflects the systems within Frostpunk 2. And it's so interesting to have a game that deals with moral dilemmas on how to create a society. Perhaps sometimes you have to think about the greater good. Also in Plato's Republic, it's argued that the individual needs to reflect the greater society morally. So when you do get bad citizens in Frostpunk 2, you can get, you know, children who become rabid, for example, or a lot of criminals. How you deal with these criminals or these degenerates. It then also reflects how society then views these people who reflect that type of morality moving forward. Frostpunk 2 can be about guiding the people through wisdom and truth, but then it can also be, on the flip side, very harsh, and you have to reflect and think about what makes, you know, for the right decision in most instances, and then the society actually reflects that back onto you. You know, the people will actually reflect onto you the choices that you do, and not many games have that kind of system. You know, I can think of games like Fable that deal with deontology and stuff like that, but not many games actually have that on a grand scale. And this is a very psychological game, and if you love that type of experience and storytelling that is about you creating your own story and, you know, kind of creating a society, I would say that the base building and the city management is kind of just the coating on top of this game. This is more of actually this is more about human choices and consequences and actions, and in that sense it very much is a role-playing game on top of a city builder. And the city building elements on this are just way more refined compared to the first one. Like I said, you can expand a lot more, much more building choices as well. And yeah, just for different factions, make this feel much more dynamic and lived in compared to the first game. But overall, I think Frostpunk 2 is a very special game, and you should experience it because it will challenge you and your own morality, and not many games can do that, and I encourage any game that does do that. So I do hope you enjoyed this quick Frostpunk 2 review. I just thought I would highlight it and cover it because I don't think it's going to get much love, even though the people who do love this game will absolutely love this because it builds on everything that the first game did but makes it even better. But I encourage you to check it out because yeah, it's an experience that most games just don't try and emulate enough of. So I encourage it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Make sure that you do leave a like and leave me your thoughts down below in the comments. I'll be eager to hear them. See you next time. Have a great day. Peace out.